PS triple. The PS triple. Shit, money. Xbox 360, Xbox Circuit. They think they're smart and shit. We ain't doing geometry. We trying to play some games. Xbox ain't got games. You know, I can't take the Wii with me. I can't have my caddy. $600 ain't shit to Chad Warden. Chad Warden wipes his ass with $600. $600 ain't shit. What I'm really trying to say is that Sony's the bomb.
So I don't think I'm a revolutionary for saying this. I think Sony is cooked. And this is coming from somebody who's been playing games on PlayStation since PlayStation 1. For the first time in my life, I feel like I actually need to get a PC. And I know a lot of PC users are on the internet and they're staring at me like, why do you even still play on console in the first place? Well, I'm just kind of lazy. I've always found it more convenient to play on consoles. I had a friend on PC who would always brag about his up-to-date PC with all these crazy settings just to complain about how the latest video game port wasn't working on his specs. That and a lot of fighting games I play have completely dead player bases on the PC, whereas they just never die on PlayStation for some reason. As for why PlayStation, well, Xbox hasn't known what they've been doing for a minute.
We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution.
You what?
And well, Nintendo caters to a certain demographic, so for me, it was natural that PlayStation was the choice. But at this point, I just feel it's like a detriment to me and my wallet if I just stick with PlayStation like this. And do I even really need to explain why? First of all, Sony is just throwing money at everything. $3.6 billion on Bungie, Sony, really? Not 3.6 million, but a billion. Sony got finessed.
You're going to have to pay me $1 million. Sorry. $100 billion.
Gentlemen, silence.
Seriously, in hindsight, who told him that Bungie was worth that much money? But that's not even the thing people are talking about, which is crazy to me. But they're always talking about this 200 million plus on Concord, which is also insane. This is just kind of annoying because it's like, why did I even get into PlayStation in the first place? Just to play Last of Us for the 20th time? They're just throwing money at things, and look how far that got Xbox. It baffles me because it's like, if you really want a successful game, the first thing about the game is you actually have to be excited about making it. You can't just copy somebody else's homework 8 years later and then expect success. But what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a guy on YouTube. It's just crazy to me. You got games like Lethal Company or Power World, so clearly it isn't a lack of talent or ideas in the gaming industry. Something with these execs, man, they just see gaming as a medium of making money. By the way, because Sony's taking such an L in the market recently, be prepared for them to try to make up the cost by upselling and penny pinching the remaining player base, because they got to make that Concord money back somehow. Think about it, it's business 101. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Sony products get marked up very soon in the near future. Anything from discounts being scarce to controllers being overpriced, basically them upping the price without offering any value. Another thing about Sony, they're terrible at advertising.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
Xbox. $700 USD for a PlayStation 5 Pro, Sony? Really? Without the disc? Or the stand? And they still want you to be playing PS Pro on top of all this. You gotta get new games. Probably gonna have to replace a couple controllers because you know about that stick drift. It just comes off as very... Sony's not coming off like they care about their customers at all. And it's been like this for a while. I've noticed this since around Foam Stars, but I've just been trying to chill and ignore things. And that's the funny thing about it, is they don't know how to advertise games, sell good games, market good games, even if they have them. Because I tried the Foam Star game. I didn't pay for that shit. It was on PS Plus. But honestly, gameplay wise, I thought it was pretty fun. And I've heard the same thing about Concord. It wasn't a bad video game in terms of playing it. It's just they don't know how to make character designs in these games, and they charge shit for like $40. Nobody's trying to try this miscellaneous stuff unless it's free. You gotta make character designs that are actually interesting, or at least use some of the IPs you already have. Sony, you have things like Jack and Daxter, Soulcom, Resistance, Sly Cooper, Parappa the Frickin' Rapper. It's all under the hood, but Sony refuses to use it. It's like they took an amnesia pill and forgot where they came from. That's my third point. Sony has completely forgot where they came from, and that's what irritates me the most. There is a huge hole in the market for gaming. People want high quality, single player, mature experiences, and Sony thinks the only way they can offer that is with God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. Me personally, I love the mechanics in Gravity Rush, and I was real pissed when Sony let the company go that made that game. Imagine a PS5 version of Gravity Rush 3 utilizing everything the PlayStation can do. That'd be some crazy gameplay, that's all I'm saying. I love floating around with gravity, but that's just my vibe. Besides that, they're going down this live service meat grinder rabbit hole, which honestly, they just have no business or idea doing. Honestly, it's a damn shame, and I understand why they did it, but Sony did have a live service Spider-Man game on the works. It would have been really cool, but they would have had to sacrifice Insomnia, and who knows if that would have even been successful. So I understand why they didn't do it. They had to get them working on Spider-Man 3 and Wolverine. All I know is that Spider-Man game would have went crazy. I don't know how they would have got it done, but I feel like 8 years and $200 million wasted on Concord could have been wasted attempting a live service Spider-Man game instead. Maybe hiring a different department. I don't know. Anything is less of an L than what they received with Concord. And then I heard that Factions, which is fun as hell if you've ever tried that. It's a spin-off of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. It's multiplayer back in the day, but they canceled that because Naughty Dog had to work on other games, which makes sense, but I don't know, is it a W or an L that we couldn't get Factions or a Spider-Verse game? Because that shit would have went crazy. Point is, Sony's got IPs that they could use for live service games rather than making completely new ones. It's obvious to anyone in or outside the gaming industry, but they'd rather make another Concord, it seems. And yeah, that's why I don't want to really stick around and find out as a long-time PlayStation user. Sony has been out of touch for a very long time. They don't know how to market any new games, and they completely forgot where they came from. They don't want to make games that based on franchises that got them to where they are, and they'd rather just nickel and dime the remaining player base. It seems like Sony is less likely to be making any innovative games in the near future, and if they do, they'll most likely be on PC eventually. I mean, shit, you're telling me you couldn't throw Miyazaki a little bit of that 200 mil, get his ass working on a Bloodborne 2? Well, I don't know, maybe there's hope with Astrobot, but yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Expect more videos coming out because my ass needs to save up for a new gaming PC.
Get all the honeys with a PS Trooper.